Angaya education, or Almajiri system as it's popularly known, is one of the issues that has received great attention in educational policy discussions. The word Almajiri is derived from the Arabic Almuhajirun, meaning an immigrant.
Ita asali kalma almajiri an samo ta ne daga Larabci, wanda take nufin almuhajir. Almuhajir shine wanda ya ƙaura domin ya tafi neman ilimi. To da can idan an tura mutum neman ilimi, akan yi la'akari da abu uku. Na farko, a samu malami mai ƙwararren ilimi, mai zurfin ilimi. Na biyu, a sama wa yaro masauki inda zai zauna. Na uku, a sama masa abinci da zai ci.
It's attached to the Islamic concept of migration, which is widely practiced, especially where learning at home is either inconvenient or insufficient.
An ce almajiranci mutum ne kan iya fita daga wani gari zuwa wani gari domin neman karatu na addini wanda ta yi wannan garin da ya tashi, ma'ana garinsu ya tafi wancan garin zai iya samun abin da babu a garinsu.
The Almajiri education system, originally called as Angaya, was established under the Kanem Borno Empire, one of the oldest ruling empires in the world, extending from the frontiers of northern Nigeria across the Chadian region up to the borders of Libya. It was established as an organized and comprehensive system of education for learning Islamic principles and values. The system was funded by the state treasury and the Zakah funds and was under the control of the emirs of the traditional ruling system that existed before the coming of the British. Since Islam encourages charity to a wayfarer and to a student of learning, the community therefore readily supported these Almajiris, most of whom came from faraway places to enroll in the Angaya schools. In return, the Almajiris offered services such as laundry, cobbling, gardening, weaving, sewing, etc. The Almajiri system, though funded, was not over-dependent on the state. In 1904, the British invaded and colonized the northern Nigerian territories and took control of the state treasury. The British also refused to recognize the Almajiri education system as an important education structure and deliberately abolished its state funding. Boko, meaning Western education, was introduced and funded instead. With loss of support from the government and the helpless emirs, the Almajiri system thus collapsed like a pile of cards.
Our government, both federal and state government, disown its Angaya education system. So these people, they live on their own, they operate their schools on their own, nobody to come to their assistance except somebody philanthropics in the society.
The responsibility of the Almajiris was then taken over by the local scholars, who deemed it a moral and religious duty to educate these pupils for the sake of Allah. These boys swam into the society with no bearing, moving from street to street, house to house, vehicle to vehicle. They were everywhere. They became a burden as well as nuisance to the society. They sang, begged and prayed, appealing to the mercy and goodwill of the people. It's really sad when you see these Almajiris hungry, malnourished, winded, rushing for flies-infested leftover food, searching through trash cans for little morsels just to stay alive.
They are living under deplorable conditions. They don't have food, they don't have this and they don't have that.
They consume all kinds of foods, fresh or stale. Their common food called gajala, which is stored by an almajiri over a number of days, is a combination of locally made corn food, tuwo, pasta and boiled yam all together in one bowl like a fresh vomit. They rarely take their bath. It is surprising, however, to see that they rarely fall sick. A population too large for individuals to handle, this has led the Quranic education system into a modern form of slavery and unimaginable child abuse.
Makarantun allo a yau sun tashi daga abin da muka sani a da wuri ne na neman ilimin Alƙur'ani. Yanzu ya zama wuri ne na wato tatsar bayin Allah, abin da Turawa suke kira exploitation.
They roam about dirty, tattered, bare feet, pale with flies pecking on their cracked lips, and dry faces which are filled with rashes and ringworms. How can the Islam of these dirty boys be complete when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, clearly said, "Purity is half of faith"? They sleep on worn-out mats in uncompleted buildings. Even goats may not find the small rooms where the Almajiris sleep conducive. Islam enjoins man to work, to use his brain and hands in order to make a living for himself. It is when all these fail that he could resort to begging. For any person who is hale and hearty, it is forbidden, haram, to beg. It is true that we could blame the British almost 100% for deliberately destroying our indigenous education system, but we could not blame them for our collective negligence in allowing the system to continue unabated in its present form. The system must be stopped, remodeled and integrated into our educational system.
Ilimin addinin musulunci ba shi da kaso a cikin budget na ilimi. Duk kuɗin da ake cewa an kashe a ilimi, karatun zamani ake kashewa.
The northern states must put their heads together through the Northern Governors Forum to tackle this phenomenon. The solution may not be one shot solution, but a gradual one.
Mafita gabara shine kowane ɓangare na al'ummar ya taka rawar da ya kamata ya taka. Ɓangaren malamai na al'umma, ɓangaren iyayen yara, ɓangaren shugabannin unguwanni, ɓangaren gwamnatoci, ɓangaren ɗaiɗaikun jama'a, duka waɗannan ɓangarori guda biyar kowa yana da rawar da ya kamata ya taka wajen samawa wannan tsari na bara da ake yi mafita.
The private sector should be encouraged to set up Islamic-oriented schools coupled with the conventional schooling system to complement the efforts of the various tiers of governments. For those states that have adopted the Sharia legal system, the zakah provision can be used to tackle the problem.